I found this golf caddy on a free curb alert. I thought I could have other uses for this, so I'm going to turn it into a propane torch caddy. Stick around, let's see how it's done. Okay, I was driving around the other day and saw a curb alert for free, and I found this, a golf bag caddy. And I thought, wonder what I could do with this. And after I thought a minute, I went back and picked it up. Let me get this locked in here. There we go. But anyway, so, carry around your golf bag. But what I'm wanting to do is, and I'll show you. Take one of these, get out here in the light. Take one of these burn torches here, and you hook a propane cylinder to it, and one of them puppies. Well, before, when I did this, I used it for, burning weeds and stuff like that, grass growing up in the driveway through the gravel, that you'd have to lug that thing around, and that got tiresome after a while. So my idea is to modify the bottom plate here to where that this will sit in there, and I'm going to take this piece out, just bolt hold it in, drop it down here, that way I can strap it on. I've got a ratchet strap here for it, and then make a bracket where I can hold my torch in through here. So I don't know, we'll give this a shot. It may work, it may not, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. So stick around and see if this will be a pass or fail. Bottom piece off here, and see what we got, what it looks like. Okay. Alright, moving forward. Okay, I got this bottom piece off now, and I was looking at here as far as it going to hold the tank, strap it down. The curve is really not wide enough for my liking, so I thought, okay, this one has got a wider curve in it. Well, it's only held on by one bolt here, but this part is also part of the latch for breaking this thing down. So, I don't plan on breaking it down. I'll just leave it. Yeah, I know it's going to take up quite a bit of room, but nevertheless, for the purpose I want it for, I'm thinking about taking this off the latch, taking this piece off, then I can move this down here, because like I say, being wider, it'll fit the tank a lot better. Fit the tank a whole lot better. And then cutting me take some metal and go from this hole to that hole and make a bracket for each side. Yeah, let me get the camera over here where you can see. But take the metal and make a bracket for each side. That way I can eliminate the latch and I can eliminate this. So let me get this thing apart, see where we're at. Okay, I got this nut off. Get this pulled out. Well, you want to come up there? There we go. Let's see, get this one off now. Okay, so I got these two out. Hopefully I'll be able to reuse these again. And let's see. Okay, that apparently goes down over that piece, so I got to get this off first. Oh, there's a spring on this thing? Sure enough is. So I'm going to pull it straight out. Okay, there's that. Put it out the way. So now, should be able to pull this off. Ha! Okay. Now, this fits a lot better around that tank. So what I'll do is modify it and put it somewhere right in through here. I have to build my bracket to hold the bottom of the tank, and put this on here, fabricate it to where I can strap that tank in, and then hopefully I can utilize this same bolt. I may have to, of course, cut this top cap off and then see if I can't work it up through here. Of course, take that bracket off. You know, it'll depend on that base that I make, how high that base will be, and because I may be able to just run it up to right here and not have to take this off. But now, to get this thing to stay together, I'll put her about like so, and see, make me a little piece of metal, and a piece of metal to go right in between here. I think that's going to work. So let me sketch this out, and then we'll go cut it off with a cutoff wheel. Sorry, I forgot to say noise alert. Hope it didn't bust your eardrums. Okay, we'll let that cool off there a second and go out there and see if it'll fit. And if it does, then we'll make another one just like it. Alrighty. Yeah, I believe that's going to work. I'll mark this from the back side so I'll know the angle to cut this. And then I'll round this corner right here, and then I gotta finish rounding this off. I'll take the Dremel with that and do it, and once I get these rounded, then I'll make another one just like that. All right. There we go. Got that rounded corners. There, it won't cut anything. So we'll go stick that on here now, see how it looks and fits. And if it does good, we're going to make another one just like it. Yeah, buddy. That's going to work out fine. No rough edges on it or anything. So I'll make another. I'll spare you making the other one, and I'll show you when I get both of them made. Those other screws had the square heads on them where they would recess, and so I didn't really they didn't recess the way I wanted them to. So I just had some stainless. They're a little long, but I can cut them off with a Dremel. So now we're going to cut off this so we can get a hole all the way through it, and see if we can slide it on from the bottom down here and then up to where I can mount that. So I cut that top piece off. I used a cut-off wheel and basically burned through it, and then I started it there at the base. Of course, we got that curve right there, so I had to tap it with a hammer and got it all the way up to there. I've got the strap holding it around here because it's kind of loose right now. So I laid it down like this, laid the propane tank up here on it to where that I could get above this area through here, and below that, for the strap to go around to hold it, and then measured from there to how far the bottom of the tank would go. And I've made me a little scribe mark here. So now I'm going to work on making a platform base to hold that tank on. I don't know if I want to make it out of a solid piece of metal or whether I want to come up and then branch off with a couple of wings in there, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so for the base, I dug around my scrap pile. I found this piece of ankle. It's 3/32 thick, and so right here is my scribe mark of where I'm going to start the flat plate for the tank to sit on this way, and that way this plate here will go in and then turn and go down. Then I can bolt it right in through here. So what I'm going to do is line this up here, and then I made a pencil mark right here where my scribe line is, so that I know that I'll cut that. I know that I'll cut this across, and that way when this thing sits down, it'll be flat on the ground. Then I took the tank and set the tank on here and traced around the tank itself. So what I'm going to do is come from the corner and come in here to the edge of the tank, and then come here, same angle to the edge of the tank. Then that'll give me a base for it to set on. So let me go in here and mark my lines, and get the cutoff wheel, and we'll get this cut. There's a reason for my madness. Okay, here is the radius of the propane tank. So I've come just to the outside edge of that, made me a vertical line using this because I know this is straight and square. So I used my square to come off of that to make a vertical line. Then come over to this edge, come off of here, make a vertical line. And then the distance between these two, we found the center. Drew the center down here and drew the center line out to here. Now the pole or the post that comes up from the ground and everything, it's a little less than an inch and a half. So I went ahead to made this an inch and a half, so it'll be a little more beefy. So I went from my center line 3/4 inches over, and then 3/4 inches over to give me my inch and a half, and then drew a diagonal line from here to connect with that vertical line there. So now what we're going to do is take the cutoff wheel, and we'll cut this all the way down, cut this over to here, and cut this one all the way down, and then cut over to here. But the more I think about it, I might leave a little area, say right in here. Well, turn my pencil around right where it can mark. I might leave an area like this on each side here, and then bend a tab up, and that way it won't want to shift either side. So let me do the measurements on that, and then we'll get the cutoff wheel, cut it off, and I'll bring you back and show you what the end result looks like. So here's our piece that we've got done now. And like I say, it'll mount like this down there on the caddy, dolly, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to bend these two tabs up here and then go punch me a few holes through here, and we'll see what happens. We should be able to get this thing up and running hopefully before the sun sets. Got the brackets bent to be able to hold the propane tank in. Got my flange bent so I can mount it this way. But what's wrong with this picture? I bent these the wrong way. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rebend them and see if I can without breaking them off. You win some, you lose some. Okay, mission accomplished. I got it bent. And in case you're wondering about, and they didn't break either, in case you're wondering how I bent them, I used these duckbill vice grips. And laid it down flat, started to bend, and then held it up against my knee and held the back side of it with my other hand, and then finished bending it. And so far, we'll get these two holes drilled here and get it mounted and see what happens. Bring you right back. It's already gone down. I don't think I'm going to make it, but I'm going to try. But anyway, before I mount this thing on here, this is a hollow tube, and I'm thinking maybe when I go to clamping that down, I'm going to smoosh this. So I've got my finger out of the way, dummy. So I've taken a piece of wood, whittled it down, and we'll see if we can't drive it in there, and then I'll drill my holes, and that'll keep that from smooshing that aluminum. So we got that piece of wood driven in, so that's going to make it solid through here now. So I'll drill my holes, and then we'll mount our plate. We got it. And of course it's dark. But there's the bracket. Sits right in there. Perfect. Mounting bolts at the bottom. And then our strap right around the tank. The strap's really tight. It didn't, I'm at the very end of my strap around there. So what I think I'll do a little later on, you can see we got a little gap in there. I'll take my heat gun, heat the plastic up on this side, heat the plastic up on that side, and then push the bottle in to spread that plastic out a little bit. But other than that, thing's pretty heavy for a full container. But yeah, it works. See, and I can wobble it back and forth. So all I got to do now, well, didn't think of that. Here we are the next day, and from last night, when I set this thing down, of course you saw it turn over. So I've got to make some, stabilizing legs for this. And because, you've only got that one center point, but then you got the weight of that tank, which is, setting the center of gravity off. So what I think I'm going to do, I just happened where I had cut some stair treads out of some pressure treated lumber. I'm just going to take and make some, like an outrigger, mark it up underneath here, the angle of this, cut that excess off, and I'll come up with a wedge like this, so I can just slide that right under here, and then I'll make another one for the other side over here, and then drill me a couple holes and put screws down in there. So we'll give that a shot and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now we got her mounted here, and I'll set my screws to get a little more stability. And of course we got the sun in the way too. So now we'll put the propane tank on there and we'll see how the stability is. Alrighty. So yeah, definitely bottom heavy from the propane tank. And this is about 3/4 full. So now last night, remember when I dropped it down, it'd go flip over, but she's good and stable now. Woohoo! Okay, now we're going to mount a little bracket here on the side, put a hook to be able to hold the torch in there. So we'll do that next and then we'll be done. Okay, got her all done. Got her painted up there. I figured I won't do that, make it look halfway decent. So now we'll put the tank on, and there's the torch hook I made. I took this original bracket here. It was down there for something hooked onto it. I don't know if that's for the, you know, whatever these golf caddies had, because I'm not into golfing. And then of course this is a rope hook, and I had to ground off each side of this rope hook here to get it to recess in this little groove in here. And then I used self-tapping sheet metal type screws and mounted this piece first, then went in and mounted this, so that's pretty stable to hold the torch. So now let's get it back together and I'll show you the final result. Okie dokie, here's final product. Tank's sitting in this little cradle, straps holding it down, then the curved piece here in the back. Hose comes around to that little clamp I made to put the hose in. Put the torch burner on there first, and drop her right in place. She'll stay there. I can roll her around and get the place cleaned up, burn the grass that's growing up through the gravels. I don't like using weed killer because I got kitty cats and livestock, chickens and so forth, and I don't want to wind up poisoning them. So that's why I've got my torch. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little segment of repurposing a golf caddy and saving your back from carrying a propane tank around if you use a torch like this, and give the caddy another life. And thank you all for stopping here at Randallology, and hope you got some use out of it. Please give me a thumbs up and give me a comment, and I'd like to know what you think. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and to my subscribers that are already subscribed, I thank you very much. So we'll see you next time. Bye. Let's give it a shot. I'm impressed.